All right, so the No Kings rally is a flop. My daughter went to the local one, said there was nothing but old people there, the boomers. So, hmm, the boomers. Who are the boomers in history? Most people don't know, but the boomers in spiritual history. I'm talking in the spiritual history of God incrementally climbing up out of the pitiful position that Lucifer, Adam, and Eve put him in, gaining the support of prophets, Jesus, religious people, saints, and sages along the way. Satan's final stab back was his original concept in the Garden of Eden, where he got Adam and Eve to create the original sin, which, by the way, was sexual, which is why none of the children of Adam and Eve are conceived under the covenant of God's presence and his auspices. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. We're having a parent problem. All fallen history is due to the fact that false parents are taking care of humans. If you want to understand the root of hell, that's it. False parents or incomplete parents are taking care of children. It's like the parent cell of a cancer cell is also cancer. And what does a cancer do? It grows up too fast. It doesn't even complete its maturation before it's dividing. Okay? And so what does that mean? That every time you produce a child, if the cancer cell is analogous to a child needs to be fed the way a cell needs to be fed and grow to maturity before it multiplies. And children are not fed, and then somebody gives them the idea, the way Lucifer gave Adam and Eve the idea, to use sex as a coping mechanism instead of a means to spread mature human beings around the planet, making the Garden of Eden the globe of Eden and the cosmos of Eden. Okay, that never happened because we have a disconnected concept. We do not have a true concept of sex leading to a true state of parenthood, leading to a true fulfillment for children. So if you look at like this, the child throughout human history has had some sort of, it comes along with an emotional need. Now, what happens is there is a growth time period wherein that need is fulfilled and fundamental questions are answered. All right, so fundamental questions are answered by the people who, it is a child's birthright to have those people there to answer those questions. Chief among these questions is, who am I? Do I matter? Am I significant to you? The society is not supposed to answer that. The kids' parents are supposed to be there as the avatar of God. Made he them male and female. That highest expression of masculine and feminine cooperation is in parenthood. Okay, so it is the avatar of God, male and female, answering that question. Not society, not a king, not, okay. All right, well, that was messed up. And so what happens is kids are not getting this answer, and then they have an emotional debt. They have an emotional debt. Now, liberals think that emotional debt, no need to stop the sex party yet. Okay, no need to stop the sex party. This emotional debt can be cured by government or by welfare, but it can't. Okay, so what happens is as soon as the single parent rate or the broken family rate reaches 30%, the debt is too high. The children extract for their emotional needs from society. They curry favor with the gangs, and those gangs give them different tasks in order to prove themselves. And the debt is too high, so the crime is too high. Okay, and we have hell on earth. So Reverend Moon's the one that came and said, actually, the root of sin, even the original sin, is actually something sexual happening between man and woman, which leads to Cain killing Abel. Okay, so boomers. Finally, around 1945, Sigmund, it was Alfred Kinsey. Okay, so Alfred Kinsey took after Freud. He was a wife swapper, but he wrote a book. First piece of fake news was called Sexual Behavior in a Human Male, which said that 10% of men are gay, and it's never been true. The highest estimate for how many men are gay is like somewhere between 1, 2, or 3%. But they even had a gay magazine patterned after this false finding about 10% of men are gay. And his sampling for his findings were prison inmates. So you might find that 10% of prison inmates had some homosexual experience, but you're not going to find that in the general population. And the fact that he sampled prison and reported it as though it was general population of free Americans was a tremendous deception. So him, and then you have Hugh Hefner making porn chic and cool. So boomers were raised after God's people or traditional people had no answer for Freud's findings that everything is fundamentally sex, Kinsey's finding that half of the population is engaged in wife swapping, and Kinsey's finding that children are sexual from the age of only a few months old. He actually had to sexually stimulate infants in order to get those numbers. Shame on his colleagues for allowing that to happen. And then Hefner, who hated marriage because one of his early loves was found cheating on him, and he objectified women for the rest of his life as a get back for that woman. Now, the boomers drank all that Kool-Aid, is my point. They grew up in a time where there wasn't much of a rebuttal for Freud. There was no rebuttal for Kinsey, and Hefner had, he had gained a foothold in some aspect of mainstream. And those people, that's their fond youth, the sexual revolution, the sexual liberation. It's a part of who they are, having grown up in that time. But as I said, they were all deceived. An entire generation was deceived, and we call that deception the sexual revolution. We did studies after the sexual revolution about the effects of divorce. We found that the sexual revolution's concepts were stupid. Well, of course, they come from Satan, who is not God, who lurched at his own kingdom, not fully understanding the creation, not fully understanding the design of human beings. So this generation is dying hard. So that's why they're out on the streets, and they're still opposed. They don't really want the romantic childhood that they had to be proven wrong, and they don't want to lose steam. And even Gen Y, Gen Z, these guys are finding out that the old way of just whimsically breaking family, they don't like that shit so much. So I just like to explain, why these old people were out there on the street. And I'm trying to say, Satan's getting old.